Hey guys, how's it going? It's me. If you didn't know already, you probably should by now. I think I've made enough videos. But anyway, I'm here to talk about a movie that came out a bit earlier this year. In fact, quite a bit earlier, like a couple months ago. I'm gonna talk about Mad Max Fury Road. Now, okay, Mad Max Fury Road is basically a 30-year follow-up to the Mad Max franchise, which is like a really influential thing to action movies. It gave us a lot of new ways of filming action and a lot of action movies that are really well praised these days and loved by action fans. Okay, before I review the movie, I'm just going to say I am a really big action fan. I mean, I understand that some action movies are not perfect or anything, like 2001: A Space Odyssey are not like that level, but they're enjoyable, and a lot of action movies are enjoyable. But what makes an action movie exceptional is when there's more than just the action. And so I'll get into that about this movie later. First of all, I'm going to tell you this movie is directed by George Miller, the same guy who directed the original Mad Max movies, and I'm going to tell you straight up, this is an awesome movie. Seriously, this is one of the best action movies of the year. Before this movie was like my second favorite of the year after I saw it. Well, at that time it was my first. I didn't see Sicario yet, so at that time it was my favorite movie of the year. Then it became my second favorite after I saw Sicario. It was still awesome. And then I saw the new Star Wars, and now it's my third favorite. But it's still awesome. And it definitely has better action than the new Star Wars. Okay, so let me get right into it. The action is awesome. This is some of the best filmed action I've ever seen. I'm not exaggerated. This action has no shaky cam. It's well shot. You can see the emotions in the characters, and there's so many really cool stunts in it. In fact, like 90% of this movie is practical effects. Like, they actually blow up trucks. They actually go with those bikes all over the place. Like, they just jump bikes, and they have these sort of poles that go up and down with them in them. It's awesome. These action scenes are some of the best ever filmed, and I love them. I never felt bored in this movie. And it's not just because of the action that it's like that. Also, there's a lot of emotion to this movie. There's a lot of stuff to back all the action up. For instance, the acting, like Tom Hardy. Okay, Mel Gibson was great in the Mad Max movies. They're what made him famous, and it's really hard to top that. And I don't think that Tom Hardy specifically tops Mel Gibson, but then again, we've had like 30 years, more than 30 years to get used to Gibson's Mad Max, so I don't expect him to be better, but he's great as Mad Max. He has those certain aspects to him that I loved about Mad Max in The Road Warrior, in that he doesn't talk that much in the movie. That it's mostly just done through his facial features. He does talk, of course, but not too much. He doesn't have that many monologues in the movie, apart from the beginning, but he's just basically narrating in the beginning. And like I said, this movie's really well shot. It has some great cinematography. You can see all of the desert in this movie. There is some CGI added to this desert, but it doesn't matter because it still looks amazing. And I just love the way they show the desert. And also, as well as Tom Hardy, there's Charlize Theron. She's the standout of this movie. She's the best. She's the best actress in this movie. So her character is called Furiosa. They should just call this Furiosa Road. It's totally worth it. This movie is her movie because she has the most development, she has the best performance, and she most often feels like the main character because you can really relate to her and you can understand where she's coming from. So yeah, she's an awesome character. Probably the best female character since Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. Awesome. Just plain awesome. It's a great year for female characters this year, and she's definitely one of those because she's awesome in this movie. And also, this one I wasn't actually expecting, but Nicholas Hoult in this movie, he plays one of these guys who's following the main bad guy in the movie, and he's a really intriguing character in this movie because you never really get to know what it's like for henchmen in movies. You just always think that they're really crazy and stuff. Here you get to realize why he follows his master. And it's really interesting in that way because he has a lot of emotion to his character in that sense. And I feel like it's really well developed. Also, the villain in this movie is played by the same guy who played the villain in the original Mad Max. Now, he was pretty good here. He wasn't like, Loki or the Joker, but for the movie, he was a pretty good villain. He did his job. He looked menacing. He talked menacingly. You could understand where he was coming from. He didn't have too much development to him, but you did understand why he was being bad, mainly because of the apocalypse and stuff, but it was good enough for me. I didn't really want to know too much about a villain in this movie. I wanted it to focus more on the heroes, and it did, so I didn't really mind the fact that the villain wasn't too great. He was alright. There's nothing bad about the villain. Okay, now, one problem that a lot of people say about this movie is that it's not really too well developed with the characters. I disagree, because let's not forget, this is an action movie. Action movies don't always have a lot of character development. For instance, take Con Air. Con Air is a really fun action movie, but that's all it is. There's nothing special about it. I mean, the acting in it's fine, but no, it's a movie, it's not that great. It's just the action that's great, and that's why everybody loves it. So yeah, this movie has enough character development to classify as exceptional, and it's a large amount for an action movie, a kind that a lot of action movies don't have these days. And so yeah, the character development for this movie is good enough, and I loved it. So yeah, that was really good in this movie. What else is there to talk about? Well, the direction in this movie, like the way they convey the characters' emotions and all, that's really great. I really loved it. Now, basically, this movie doesn't have too much of a plot. It's basically just one huge chase, but that's all I wanted. I didn't want it to be a huge plot, because a huge plot wouldn't mean as much action, and when it's this kind of action, you don't want a huge plot. You just want action, and that's what you get. You get some really well-filmed action. It's really tense. It's really gritty, and it's real. I mean, with all the practical effects, it's awesome. This movie is one of the best movies to come out this year. The best action movie to come out this year. The best action movie of the decade. Maybe even the best action movie since the 90s. Seriously. I'm not exaggerating. I'm really telling this, okay? I think that this is one of the best action movies since the 90s. Probably better than anything in the 2010s or the 2000s. It's awesome. It is definitely worth checking out. It's not like just one of those Fast and Furious movies where it's just trying to be really stupid and it knows it. No, it's smart and it knows it's smart, and that's good. That's really good for this movie. And don't worry, if you're just one of those guys who likes that sort of Fast and Furious stuff where it's all really stupid, it has plenty of that, because this movie is out of its mind. It is one of the craziest movies I've ever seen, and I, for one, love crazy movies, so I love this movie. So yeah, this movie is great. It's crazy, and I love it. And okay, I'm gonna give this movie. It should be obvious. I've already given like 2 movies this year this rating, but it deserves it. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, no doubt. 10 out of 10 for Mad Max Fury Road. Okay. All right, good. So I hope you like that review. Now, usually I end my videos with a certain catchphrase, but this time I'm gonna add a little to the end of the catchphrase. But the catchphrase is still gonna be there, so I'm gonna say it. You don't have to go while you got Timo. What a lovely day! What a lovely day!